With all that going on, it kind of reminded me of Kanye West when Capital pulled back on the deal. When he was like, yo, Capital pulled on the deal. It's like, yo, think I can still get that deal with Rockefeller? So it kind of reminded me of going through that situation where, you know, welcome to DebtFreeinIT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. So 2024 has been a good year for the DebtFreeinIT with Mike podcast, and this wouldn't have been possible without all of y'all. So I'd like to thank everyone who've watched, everyone who subscribed, if you left a comment, as well as reached out for advice. If you shared this podcast with a friend, I'd like to say thank you for rocking out with me for 2024. And I'm looking forward to rocking out with you for 2025. Today, I'm going over some highlights as well as some challenges I've had this year, as well as my plans for going forward for 2025. So one of the first things I like to do is reflect on some major milestones that we hit this year. So one of the main goals and main milestones that I think we hit this year was being consistent. So the goal was to try to upload at least once a week for the whole year. So far, from what I can count, I only missed like 1 week of uploading. Total, we uploaded like 54 podcast episodes. Those include a couple of the Study With Me episodes. So you have a couple of those sprinkled in and out of there. But mostly every Friday, we have uploaded a different episode every week, except for 1 week out of the year. So being consistent, like I said, that's something that we plan to carry over into 2025. Also, just try to be as consistent as possible and also provide as much value as possible. So then moving on to some of the analytics. So when we look at the subscribers, so one way I like to measure if this podcast, you know, I like to make sure that we're going in the right direction. So I like to make sure that I'm growing year to year. It's just a personal goal of making sure, like, being consistent and making sure that the podcast is growing every year. So I'm not looking for the fast growth, but I'm looking for that slow and steady growth. So for those that invest in the market, I'm not looking for that NVIDIA growth. I'm looking for that S&P 500 growth. So that's one of the main things. Just maintaining being consistent, I think, helps out with everything overall. But then when we look at some of the subscribers, so we gained 875 subs for a total of 2,937, which, like I said, that's good for me. Like I said, when I first started this podcast, I roughly didn't think anyone would tune in. So I appreciate everyone who's tuned in, everyone who has subscribed. And then for the total views for this year was 148,890. The total views for the whole year using the year one and also this year was roughly 276,575 views. Like I said, my hat goes off to everyone who has tuned in, everyone who has supported the podcast, everyone who has shared it with a friend. So like I said, my hat just goes off to y'all for helping me to achieve these numbers. And like I said, any kind of way I can help you out or provide value for you, you know, just leave it in the comments. So moving on to my favorite episodes for this year. So pretty much if you look at some of the episodes, I got a couple of favorite episodes, first of all. So if you look at the episode starting after the CCNA exam update episode, after that episode, I started getting more creative and I started to make the content creation a little bit fun for me, where it's fun overall, but I'm a hip hop head. So for me, being able to tie a lot of my episodes to classic hip hop albums by maybe being creative with the rap titles, the name of the song, where I'm tying it into classic hip hop albums or classic songs for each episode. If you notice, after that CCNA exam update, a lot of those episodes after that has references to a lot of classic hip hop albums, a lot of hip hop songs. So I'm a hip hop head at heart, you know what I'm saying? Before I was in the IT, I was also dabbling with music production. I was rapping a little bit. So I came up just knowing music, wanting to make beats. I had drum machines, MPC 2000 XL. So I was into a little bit of everything. So classic rap albums and things like that, it sticks out to me. I love them. I still listen to a lot of them today. So being able to take those classic rap albums or rap songs and merge them with the IT aspect, I think that has been a big transition for me where, like I said, I'm trying to bring a little bit of the hip hop into the IT. So, you know, because most of the time when you get in IT, you know, you still want to be yourself. So you don't want to just change up totally. You know, you still want to be yourself. And IT, I think, is one one field that will let you do that. Like I said, I remember some of my coworkers where you had the coworkers that, they all had their own style. You could see some of them that may have the hippie style where they dress like the hippie type person. Some of them have the rap style, just depend on the environment you're in and where you're working at. Some of them have a more relaxed dress code. Some of them may have a strict dress code, but you can be relaxed on Fridays. So being able to take this hip hop theme and merge it into a lot of my content, like I said, I think that was the turning point for me. Not sure how long I can make it last, but like I said, that has been the turning point for me to where I can start trying to input some of my creativity into my content. And then the next episode, or the one episode that was my favorite also, is the Breaking into IT, Your First Day Journey episode. So if you noticed, that's the first episode I recorded with this new background here. So that's the first episode I recorded in this new setup. So that episode there has a lot of meaning for me. So it has a lot of meaning to me. So it means a lot to me because in that episode, I proved to myself that obstacles only hold you back if you let them hold you back. And you'll see more about what I mean when I get to the challenges I had this year. So Breaking into IT, Your First Day Journey, like I said, that's one of my favorite episodes because I proved to myself that obstacles can only hold you back if you let it hold you back. And that brings me to some of the challenges I had this year with the podcast. So one of the main challenges and the reason why that episode where I started recording in my current place where I'm recording now, one of the reasons that episode means a lot to me because that episode there, I had a lot going on that week. If I had to pick one week that was rough throughout my year, that was the week. So pretty much if you notice, some of my first episodes, I was recording in a different background. So when I first started recording, I used to record in a co-working space. So I recorded in a co-working space. If you're not familiar with a co-working space, it's one of those spaces where it's probably one of your town if you're in a major city, but it's one of those places where if you work from home, but you want to have that office type setting or you want to get away from home and work, you have co-working spaces in your area that you can pay a monthly fee or you can pay a per day fee. And they'll let you come in and pretty much that'll be your work office instead of you going into your main office. So when I first started recording, I was recording at this co-working space and I was able to record there for the whole first year and then about half of my second year. So, and pretty much when you see that background change to where I have my current setup now, so now I'm at my home recording. So when you see that background change in between those episodes, pretty much what happened was the day I was going to record that episode, which was planned to be in the co-working space, the day I was going to record it, I went ahead, booked my time online, paid for it through the website, drove all the way to that place. So I used to load up my equipment every week, drive to that place, set up my equipment, and record. So sometimes I would be there early mornings. Sometimes I would be there late afternoons. Sometimes I would be there almost nighttime. So I went there to record like I usually do. So I usually choose a Friday or something to try to record. Or back then I was on the Friday schedule. So when I went there, taking out all my equipment, going to the door to put my key code in, my key code wasn't working. So my key code's not working. I'm like, man, what's going on? So just so happened while my key code's not working, the lady that works there, she sent me an email. I guess she could see the alarm going off that, oh, my key code ain't working. So she sent me an email. She was like, hey, I wanted to know, did you check out your last email from us or whatever? So I'm like, okay. So I looked through it, look through the email, and it's partially my fault because I didn't check the email. But when I looked through it, I found out that that place was sold. So when that place got sold, it's no longer a co-working space. So now I'm stuck to where, oh, it's the weekend and I need to record something for the next week. So, but I don't have nowhere to record. And just so happened, this place, they had another co-working space. I went and looked at it, but I didn't like the setup. So I'm particular with my setup. So I didn't like the setup. So now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. So now, to me, the main thing on my mind is I don't want to miss next week. I don't want to miss a week. So like I said, that's always in the forefront of my mind when it comes to this podcast. I don't want to miss a week. So I try hard not to miss a week. So with this going through my mind, I go into reaction mode. So I go to the second spot, can't find nowhere to record there. Don't really like the setup. So the next thing is the most logical thing, which was going to happen anyway. It's just this situation made it happen faster than I thought it would happen. So now I'm like, okay, so I need to get my home space set up to where I can record comfortably in my home. So what I did was, like I said, I went to Amazon. There were some pieces of equipment I needed to make it work from home. So I ordered up all those pieces of equipment. Roughly, if I had to estimate, I probably spent about $1,000 that weekend just to order equipment, order things so I can set it up at the house and try to record. So some of the things, like I said, I needed some this thing here to hold the microphone. I had to get some other elements here that you may not see. One thing you see is I always had a lot of books. So I got a bookcase beside me here to my right, which I always had. And then I had to order the bookcase in the back here just because, I needed something other than a regular brick wall to be my background. So, and one day this bookcase probably going to fall on me while we're recording. So if it falls on me, I'm going to keep it in there just to show y'all that it fell on me. But like I said, I ordered everything here, got it set up, and started recording. So like I said, I was able to make that week of uploading an episode, which was good, but it was frantic. And then on top of all that's going on with my recording situation, at the same time, I'm going through a breakup with my ex-girlfriend. So we broke up around that time. Roughly, we've been together like 2.5 years. So like I said, that was a little bit rough for me. But at the same time, one thing that pushed me through all of that was my mind was on the podcast. Like, yo, I need to get this episode out no matter what. By any means necessary, we need to get this episode out. So with all that going on, it kind of reminded me of Kanye West when Capital pulled back on the deal. When he was like, yo, Capital pulled on the deal. It's like, yo, think I can still get that deal with Rockefeller? So it kind of reminded me of going through that situation where, I lost my recording place, had to find a new setup, and at the same time, I lost my girlfriend. So like I said, that was probably one of the roughest weeks for this year with recording the podcast, just because it was so much going on. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't as much going on, if it happened different times of the year or something like that, it would have been much easier to deal with. But we pushed through it. I uploaded an episode and everything is good now. Hold up. If you're enjoying this episode, get ready for my up and coming newsletter, The Law Files, a weekly newsletter to help you start your IT career with practical advice and tips, powered by yours truly. It's launching soon and it's packed with actionable advice and resources and insights to kickstart your IT journey. The link is in the description and also pinned in the comments, so don't miss out. Now back to the episode. So last, we're just going to cover some plans coming up for 2025. So the main thing is, like I said, to maintain consistency and continue to provide value for everyone who tunes in, everyone who subscribes. Like, again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. And then also some of the plans I have going up is I would like to start going live. So I never went live before on YouTube or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind going live. If you have some ideas for me to go live with, please leave it in the comments, send it to me or something like that. I'm thinking about maybe a meet and greet, go live with a meet and greet first where, I go live and answer any questions. If you just want to pop in, say what's up, you want to pop in and chat about anything, whatever, IT related or anything else, just maybe doing a meet and greet maybe once a month or something like that. And then besides going live, also, if you've been listening midway through the episode, the little ad I have, so you know that I'm coming out with a newsletter. So I plan to start trying to roll that out the first of the year. I say probably middle of first quarter, somewhere around there. So as soon as possible. But I'm looking for either the middle of first quarter or the beginning of the second quarter. And then also, as promised, this has been one of the things that always has been on the top of my list. It's a little bit harder since, I don't have a way to come across a lot of IT folks in person. So I plan on doing some interviews. I have a couple people in mind that I want to interview, and I plan on reaching out to them, getting an interview scheduled, and then start releasing those. So once I get all those recorded, that's probably when I'll start releasing them. And then other than that, I know I get a lot of comments and questions, so I plan on starting to offering some coaching packages or something like that, whether it's coaching with IT or if you're trying to do the content thing too, I can help you out with that. So I'm plan on offering some coaching. I think that may come around second or third quarter of this year. And then also some merchandise. So, plan on doing some hoodies. I got one design made now, but I just need to get it and start promoting it, start wearing the hoodie. So since it is hoodie season, at least where I'm at is hoodie season. But like I said, that's some of the plans that we have up and coming for 2025. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can follow me at DebtFreeinIT. If you have any questions or comments, you can email me at debtfreeinit@gmail.com, or you can visit the website, debtfreeinitwithmike.com. Other than that, I'll see you in 2025. Peace.